Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Thursday, 30th October 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Jamaica, post-Hurricane Melissa described as apocalyptic by Lisa Hanna, former politician caught in Miami as the hurricane ravaged her homeland. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. Jamaican resident and former Jamaican politician Lisa Hanna, who has been stuck in Florida, joins Chris Jansing to share what she's heard from friends and family back home in Jamaica about the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. More in this MSNBC news item.
The images we're seeing from neighborhoods in Jamaica in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa reveal absolute destruction. Gates of homes immersed in murky waters. Driveways and the roads beyond them invisible. Joining me now is Lisa Hanna, a Jamaican resident and former Jamaican politician stuck in Florida right now, waiting for word on when she can return home. Lisa, it's good to have you here. I know you've been talking to folks on the ground in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. What are you hearing? What are they telling you? And can you reach everybody you want to hear from?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the program. Yes. My flights were canceled on Sunday morning, and a number of us as Jamaicans are stuck in the United States. What we're hearing on the ground, for those of us who can get in touch with family members, is the devastation is almost apocalyptic. So the south of the island and the western sides of the island, you know, if you're familiar with Jamaica, places like St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Montego Bay, Hanover, and certainly in St. Elizabeth, those are areas that tourists would frequent. Those were the areas where the eye passed over and were hit hardest. Certainly the eastern side of the island, places like Kingston, where about 1 million Jamaicans live, and places like St. Mary and St. Thomas and parts of St. Catherine were not as badly damaged. But certainly we've seen hurricanes before as Jamaicans and tropical storms. We've never seen anything like this. Certainly roofs are completely gone. Roadways are completely gone. People are now getting out there. But the community spirit in Jamaica is very, very high. We're resilient. We're courageous people. The government has now given the all clear for utility systems to get back up and running, for supermarkets and different places of, you know, essential items to start opening up again. And our response teams are on the ground, our police are on the ground, our army's on the ground. So the relief efforts have started. And in Jamaica, we have pretty advanced legislation. So what you will see now is almost a parallel activity. You'll see people being rescued in places where there are landslides, especially in rural areas. You will see food items being taken to people, you know, being given medication, etc. And in tandem with that, you'll see the utility companies starting to assess where they can turn electricity back on, and you'll see roads being cleared. And so that is the immediate situation that's happening. The Minister of Transport, who I'm in touch with, should inform the country later today whether the airports for essential items will be open later today and whether or not you will certainly have the airport in Kingston being opened.
You sound confident, you sound determined, but I wonder emotionally, this is your home. What goes through your mind when you see some of the pictures? And again, these are not the worst hit areas. We were actually talking on the air the last hour to somebody who had been on the phone with a friend in St. Elizabeth, and they got cut off just as he was telling them that the water was coming through their roof.
Listen,
what are you even feeling right now?
We haven't slept. I can tell you, those of us who are here have been on the phone all night together. My former constituency, which was the member of parliament for 18 years, I was helping 2 nights before the hurricane to still get zinc and plyboard and food to people. And I'm still in touch with them. The roofs are completely gone in some of those areas. There are communities that are decimated, and this is in St. Anne. There is a level of emotional fatigue that we feel, but as Jamaicans, we're resilient, and we rise to meet adversity. That's probably why you hear the determination in my voice, because we're not people that are bludgeoned into acquiescence by adversity. So yes, our spirits are a little down, but trust me, we're already on the road and we're helping. We're very compassionate people. And already the relief efforts have started from around the world, and our diaspora, when things seemed intractable, the Jamaican diaspora rises, and we have very, very good relationships in the diplomatic community as well. So, yeah, it's hard because a lot of people have been displaced, but all of us are going to help. It doesn't matter if we were not displaced, we're going to help those that are. And so hopefully by tomorrow I'll get home and I'll be right on the ground with everybody else trying to help this recovery effort.
We'll keep our good thoughts that you will. And to all the folks in Jamaica and all the folks who love them, we are wishing you only the best. I will tell you, we spoke, I think it was yesterday, with somebody from one of those groups in Florida that was, they had hundreds of people that they were getting ready to pack stuff up and get ready to bring aid over. So it's coming, that's for sure. Lisa Hanna.
It is.
Lovely to meet you over television.
Meeting you.
Thank you.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
As tensions simmer in the region with the U.S. build-up of their fleet in and around the Caribbean Sea, seen by some as a threat to Venezuela, a Russian aircraft carrying unknown cargo landed in Venezuela on Sunday afternoon to add to the already complex standoff involving Trinidad and Tobago. TV6's Mark Bassant has more.
The Russian Ilyushin IL-76 transport aircraft passed over the northwestern peninsula tip of Trinidad and Tobago on Sunday around 1 p.m., later landing in Caracas, Venezuela, as reported by several media outlets over the last 24 hours. The landing of the aircraft comes at an especially tense time in the region as the U.S. continued to build up their military presence in and around the Caribbean Sea, while some of its U.S. Army personnel are visiting this country for what Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has said are training exercises. A claim that the Maduro-led government has dismissed, stating openly the U.S. has ulterior motives to launch an attack on Venezuela from Trinidad and Tobago. The Russian transport aircraft is linked to the country's military and former Wagner mercenary group, signaling heightened Russian interest in the Latin American country. The cargo brought by the Russian plane is unknown. The Federation Council of Russia has ratified a strategic partnership with Venezuela. According to that document, there is an understanding between the countries for arms control, disarmament, and non-proliferation, ensuring international stability and equal and invisible security for all states without exception. The IL-76 transport aircraft with the registration RA78765 arrived in Caracas on Sunday following a 2-day journey that took it from Russia via Armenia, Algeria, Morocco, Senegal, and Mauritius to Latin America, the records show. It appears the aircraft embarked on its trip from an airport in the greater Moscow area, with the transponder signal first being picked up shortly after takeoff. The multi-stop journey is emblematic of the routes used to avoid Western airspace or possible cargo inspections in unfriendly countries. It is also possible that deliveries or pickups were made along the way. An IL-76 can transport up to 50 tons of cargo or up to 200 people. Aircrafts of this type are known to have delivered small arms, military supplies, and even mercenaries on Russia's behalf in the past. The Wagner Group has been a key tool used by Russian President Vladimir Putin to extend his country's global geopolitical reach, and was particularly active in Africa, with reports of some activity in Latin America. The latest Russian moves in the region come as tensions between Venezuela, a long-time Moscow-aligned country, and the United States have reached new heights. The U.S. has accused the government in Caracas of being involved in illegal drug trade and has deployed military assets to the region to conduct strikes on vessels it accuses of trafficking narcotics. Washington has recently moved an aircraft carrier strike group to the region in a significant escalation of its military posturing. Venezuela has accused the U.S. of fabricating war. Mark Besant, TV6 News.
Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister has described a declaration by Venezuela's National Assembly making her persona non grata as being useless. And that's not all the Prime Minister had to say on the matter. Jewel Brown of TV6 News reports.
Venezuela's National Assembly approved a motion declaring the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago persona non grata.
Del proyecto de acuerdo para declarar persona non grata a la primera ministra de Trinidad y Tobago, Kamla Persat Vicesar. Señal de costumbre, queda aprobado por unanimidad.
The vote by Venezuela's National Assembly on Tuesday afternoon made it official that Prime Minister Persat Vicesar is not welcome in Venezuela. In response to a question from TV6 News, Prime Minister Persat Vicesar said, quote, Venezuelans are fleeing Venezuela by the millions, so why would they think I would want to go there? This is a useless declaration. It has no effect on my life. This just continues their pattern of attempting to bully their smaller neighbors while simultaneously crying for peace with more powerful countries, end quote. The vote in Venezuela's National Assembly follows that country's decision to suspend natural gas agreements with Trinidad and Tobago. On Sunday, Venezuela's government denounced as a hostile provocation the 5-day visit of the USS Gravely and a U.S. Marine Expeditionary Unit to Trinidad and Tobago, which the government says is meant to bolster the fight against transnational crime. Prime Minister Persat Vicesar has also expressed her full support for the recent lethal kinetic strikes by U.S. military forces in the Caribbean on boats the U.S. says were being used by narco-terrorists carrying illegal drugs. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Persat Vicesar said the warships engaged in the drug interdiction exercises are American property. The Prime Minister then said, quote, why isn't Maduro and the rest of the Venezuelan government calling President Trump's name? Why aren't they making declarations of persona non grata against him? The answer is obvious. They should call President Trump's name. He is the commander of those warships, end quote. Prime Minister Persat Vicesar then said the government under her leadership will continue supporting drug interdiction exercises against narco-traffickers in international waters. Jewel Brown, TV6 News.
In the meantime, Defense Minister of Trinidad and Tobago Wayne Sturge has dismissed speculation that the world could soon see the first US-led war breakout in the Southern Hemisphere. TV6 News has some details.
In an exclusive interview with TV6's Urvashi Tiwari Rupnarayan, the minister says he's confident cooler heads will prevail in Venezuela.
I'm quite certain that good sense would prevail on behalf of the Venezuelan leadership to prevent what could be a disaster. You know, why would you subject your people to that if you are poking the bear? And if there's a chance to resolve this and go and face your trial, why not do that? Why put ordinary people in the forefront to defend you? And this war is not against the people of Venezuela, it's against the leadership who the U.S. has said is involved and is facilitating drug trafficking.
And even as Venezuela has accused Trinidad and Tobago of aiding the U.S. military presence in the region, Minister Sturge insists.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
believe in our strength. We'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give. It's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.